All right, this morning we are so excited to have with us Healthcare Share of Treasure Valley. This will be presented by Brandie Thomson and Darcy Jackson. They're the founders of Healthcare Share of Treasure Valley. I am going to do a intro for both of them at this moment. So our speaker bios, Brandie Thomson is a compassionate, driven professional with over 30 years of experience in the medical field, including 12 years specializing in hospice care. She currently serves as the Director of Marketing for Auburn Crest Hospice and Auburn Crest Primary and Palliative Care, where she is dedicated to providing exceptional support to patients and their families during end-of-life care and beyond. Brandie is the co-founder of Healthcare Share Treasure Valley, a nonprofit that supports healthcare professionals in times of crisis, and co-founded Camp Lolo, further showcasing her dedication to community service. She is also a licensed real estate agent and a mobile notary. Boy, Brandie's quite busy. Known for her innovative spirit, Brandie thrives on building ideas from the ground up and bringing creative solutions to life. Outside of her professional life, Brandie enjoys traveling with her husband and friends, being outdoors, entertaining at her home, and spending quality time with her two beloved Rotskis, Willow and Azula. And next we have with us Darcy Jackson. She'll be accompanied with Brandie today. Darcy has been the Director of Business Relations with White Oak Hospice for over a year. She has worked in the hospice realm since 2009 and feels it is a space that truly speaks to her heart. Her passion and love for others shines through in this capacity, and with that, she knows the importance of helping people on their final journey. A native of Southern California, as well as 13 years spent in Las Vegas, Nevada, Darcy has been part of the Idaho landscape since 2017, alongside her husband Chris of 26 years, their daughter Megan, and 5-year-old chocolate lab Ozzy. They love the fact that they can now call Meridian, Idaho home. Her calling is to serve the Treasure Valley and has shined through while volunteering with the Trauma Intervention Program, working alongside Idaho first responders, and being with survivors or victims after a traumatic event. It was in those moments that Darcy's realized how important her community truly was to her. Darcy and Brandie, please take it from there. We're excited to have you this morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. We were just talking about how rusty we are, and we are kind of nervous, especially being around all y'all professionals
that do this all the time.
I know. It's an honor to be with you guys, and what a great thing you guys are doing with Learn. How do we want to start this?
I think we start it with, our page, Healthcare Share Facebook page, which was created back in 2017, actually this month. So
9 years ago.
Yeah. So we started out with just trying to pull the community together like you guys have with resources that are available in the community. And then for those people that are looking for resources in the community. So it was just an idea that Darcy brought to the table and, was new to the area. And oh yeah, there's our page. So you can take it from here because you basically brought it to the table because you experienced this in Vegas. They had a big group and you felt that it was really helpful and useful and thought we needed that same idea here.
It was extremely helpful meeting Brandie, and then Carrie Campbell is the other admin of the Facebook page. Moving here, deer in headlights, not knowing one person except for my husband and our daughter, and realizing that I really needed to kind of get a pulse on how the community works, who works together, and honestly, what companies are out there that I need to get to know, people I need to get to know. And so sitting in a conference room next to Brandie, I said, we need to start something like this. And there is a page in Vegas called Vegas Healthcare. It's a Facebook page. And it's really been impactful here in Idaho because, as with social media, you don't technically have like the gatekeepers. You can reach out to someone one-on-one without having to go and get permission to talk to that person. And so it's really, I think, broken down the barriers and really helped people work together and become resources for each other. Moving forward, we started that page. I think now we have over
We have about 5,300 people on
about
the page.
5,300 people, which is big for this area. And it's just been such a blessing to see people finding jobs, people finding Medicaid beds, people even out of state. Brandie and I will see people that want to join that have a mom or a parent, like a parent or a family member that's living here, and they're living in California, and they hear about our page and they're able to find resources for their parents without them being here.
And pretty quickly.
Yeah, pretty quickly. Again, social media, it's very hands-on. You're on your phone, you're like, let me connect you. And then through the pandemic, I think that's when the page actually really took off and really reminded us of how important relationships were.
And community.
Gosh, and community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just pulling everybody together
And hearing stories of people that were emotionally not in the right place, struggling. And you heard about those things. And then a lot of us would get together and talk about those things and the stories and what can we do to help. And I think it really solidified that page was probably a good thing to have, especially at that time.
yeah, absolutely.
So,
And then really what happened is because of all that is the idea of turning that into a nonprofit. So we just felt like, what else could we do?
there's got to be something more that we can do for people. Whether it's lurking in the shadows and doing something that people don't know about, or doing something that people do talk about and know about. I kept saying to Brandie, there's just something more we have to do. What else can we do for people in the Treasure Valley? She's making me cry now, but this community, since living here, has brought so much joy to me. Meeting someone like Brandie, who's born and raised here. I know Mike Briggs is on the call. Meeting Mike, who is such a huge supporter of so many people, and the things that he's done that people don't know about. Those are the things that speak to us. Gosh, so Brandie started Camp Lolo, which I'd heard about when I first met her. And it's loss of a loved one. And it was a bereavement camp.
Yep.
And I'll let you explain kind of.
So, yeah, so back in 2015, I had started Camp Lolo, LOLO, standing for loss of a loved one. And I was doing a 2-day bereavement camp for kids who had lost somebody. And during COVID, that got shut down, basically. And so with, there was a lot more to that. Not only did COVID shut it down, but the property that I was using got sold and like all these things. And I didn't have camp for like 3 years. And one day Darcy had asked me, like, what are you going to do with Camp Lolo? And I was like, gosh, I don't know. And what she didn't know is I'd already talked to my attorney about dissolving it. And fast forward a couple months, I started thinking about it. I called her and I was like, hey, what do you think about rolling some of that money from Camp Lolo and kind of just pulling the two missions together, healthcare share and Camp Lolo together under one mission, and using some of those funds to kick this off. And she was like, oh my gosh, this is a great idea. Let's talk to your attorney, see if we can figure this out. We did. Fast forward, we have a gala, we raised money, and now we're able to help folks in our community, in our healthcare share community, that have gone through a crisis. So like if they've had any, hospital stays, any, if they were in a car accident, house fires, any situation that has pulled them from the work field and they've been unable to pay for, living, then we're able to help those folks out. But we've really put it together where it is for the folks in the healthcare share page in that group, because they've helped our community. Healthcare share page wouldn't be what it is without them. So it was a way to give back to those folks in that group. And again, it's all about community. Do you want to add to that?
That's in a nutshell what we're doing.
Yeah.
And as you know, Dara, starting a nonprofit, there's a lot of red tape, and there's a lot of things and hoops you have to jump through, and it hasn't been easy. It's been a work in progress. But I'd say in the last 8 months, we are fully up and running, and we've listed the criteria on our Facebook page. If you go to files, you'll see it's all listed. The application is on there. We've gotten a request. We've accommodated a few people in the community, and that's just been so rewarding. And we get so excited.
We do.
Brandie will text me, we got an application and I want you to take a look at it. And I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
and then we send it off to the board, and then they say, yes, this is a perfect example of why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's the feel good. It's that camaraderie, and it's people seeing that vision has been really rewarding, truly. So
yeah.
I have a few questions for you.
Perfect.
So
Love it.
right. So number one, how do you guys raise funds and get more awareness out there to your program, and how can we help you grow?
Well, what we did was we actually, as a community, put on a gala for another nonprofit in the Valley that helps folks that are on hospice with things that maybe hospice doesn't pay for, maybe transportation from the hospital, medications, different things like ramps and whatnot. So we, as a community, pulled together, put on this big gala. We raised $60,000 doing that. And that was it was like, wow, sorry, my dogs are barking in the background. But that was kind of wow, we can do this. And then with the idea of turning Healthcare Share Facebook page into a nonprofit, we're like, okay, we can do this again. So the next year we did it again for Healthcare Share. I think we were like maybe $500 difference between the two galas, but again, right around that $60,000 that was raised for Healthcare Share. So
when is your gala typically, or will you be having another one this year?
Well,
this is a hot topic.
It is. I will tell you what's interesting about it is so many people want us to do it. It is so much freaking work.
Sure.
Yes. I would love to do it. I think it's so much fun. I love to see the community coming together for a good cause. We've been toying with it again this year. We think we might be doing it like every other year, something like that. I don't know. We
really want to have so going into the gala, you want to have stories and examples of things so people can essentially kind of buy in as to, oh, I see your vision. And we feel like last year especially, we didn't really have the stories to drive people to open their wallets, and so that's kind of, we're kind of focusing on, okay, we want people to send in those applications organically. And
can you expand a bit more on the application piece? And can you put
sure.
your Facebook site on the chat so that the members can find you?
I can try.
If you can share your link in the chat as we close out, that would be great. But there was a question about that. If you could please share your Facebook link in there.
I will do that for you. Yep.
Thanks,
Thank
Dara.
you.
And ladies, as we wrap up, because we're at the end, but I wanted
Yep.
to give you an opportunity to just say, what is the application process you're speaking of? And we can share that real quick, would be great.
It's pretty easy. You can reach out to Brandie or myself, or two, you can go to that link on the Facebook page. One of the criteria is you do need to be on the Facebook page for at least a year. We may be looking at changing that to 6 months to a year. And the person you are nominating also has to be on that Facebook page. So that is part of the criteria. And then just fill out the application and we will take a look at it and we'll move ahead or decline depending on the situation.
And what is that application for? What does it do for somebody that is applying? What are they getting with that application?
It helps us have a full understanding of if someone needs a deductible paid or what they're looking for
Okay.
help.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Identifies the assistance that they're looking for. Okay.
Yes.
Absolutely. And we're not able to just give a person a check for like $500. We want to be able to pay a bill on their behalf.
Okay.
So we have to have some information there. We have to know, what bill are we paying? We have to have a copy of the invoice, those kind of things, so we can write the check directly to that entity. We're not just handing over a $500 check. So we're paying bills for people.
That makes sense. Does anybody else in the meeting this morning have a question for these wonderful ladies before we move on? Because I think we've covered a lot. We are so very blessed to have you. Thank you.